Hi viewers, welcome back to Mom and Jess Talk Show. So this is one of our um, youthful series, and yeah, it's going to serve for young adults, and everyone as well because it's a very important discussion we're having here before us. And before we go into this discussion, please remember to do the right thing. Hit the subscription button if you haven't subscribed to the Mom and Jess Talk Show. And if you're a returning subscriber, you're welcome. Please remember to share this discussion, this episode with friends and loved ones. So, in light of the youthful series, we're taking this insightful topic we title the essence of self-respect and dignity. Yeah, you heard me right. The essence of self-respect and dignity. This topic is something we often, throw under the carpet, throw under the bus. It's not something that actually features out. It's very important, especially for youths, to understand the reason why they should respect themselves and respect others. With us to do justice to this topic is our very able sister Yemi of God. Doctor in the making, if I should say. Ma'am, you're welcome to Mom and Jess Talk Show. Please do well to introduce yourself. I know you.
Okay, my name is Dr Opeyemi Alabi.
That's it.
Yes, my name is Dr Opeyemi Alabi.
Hallelujah. Yeah, okay, so we have let me use the word doctor. I need to use it. In the house. And thank you, sis, for doing justice to this topic already. And I just want us to start by, understanding from your own perspective what self-respect and dignity is. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, from what I understand, let me start with dignity.
Right.
This we can explain. We can just say it's an impressive behavior exhibited by someone. Okay. Who controls your emotion in difficult situations. When we find ourselves in difficult situation, or maybe we're going through something that is not really palatable, but when we're able to put on this impressive behavior, impressive calmness, that will earn us more respect from others. That is dignity. Why self-respect is all about self, just like the word self-respect. We knowing our words,
Right.
we knowing our value, and treating ourselves accordingly.
Right.
That is according to our values and our words. That is what self-respect is all about.
Okay. Thank you for that very simple, sweet, simple, explanation. Okay, so why do we need to uphold our dignity? We often hear the word uphold our dignity, and this is not like out of pride because people often mistake, upholding your dignity for being arrogant. I think it's more like being confident of yourself or knowing your words. So why do you think there is need for us to uphold our dignity and self-respect?
Well, there are many reasons why we need to do this. Upholding our dignity doesn't mean that we are arrogant or we are proud.
Right.
But I think one of the basic reasons it will help us not to abandon our true self. We live in the real life, the real self that we have. We will not abandon it. We won't be answering someone else's call when we're supposed to answer ours. Then another reason why it is important that we need to uphold it is we won't be target to anybody, like if we're in a narcissistic relationship
Or manipulate.
Yes, nobody will be able to manipulate us, nobody will be able to push us up and down,
Right.
to satisfy them. Then in that case, we will not be prone to abuse. Because when you are in a narcissistic relationship,
Right.
it's all about being abused. And even as adults, bullying is not only in little words. Adults also bully. So it will also prevent people bullying us. We will be able to say no when we're supposed to say no. And we'll be able to say yes when we're supposed to say yes. Another reason why I can give is another thing is it is very important for when we uphold our dignity, it will help us to build confidence. in ourselves and we'll be able to maintain healthy relationship, just like you have said. It's not about being arrogant. It's not about pride. But when we have confidence in ourselves, then we'll be able to maintain healthy relationship with other people.
Right.
It's like we'll be able to draw boundaries.
Setting boundaries.
Yes, because in any relationship, we need to define what the relationship is all about.
Define.
And after defining what the relationship is all about, we should be able to set boundaries. When there are boundaries, which means the two parties or whatever, whatever number of parties involved, they know this is the boundary. I don't go beyond my boundary. But I think one of the mistakes we all make is maybe we throw cautions into the air. We don't set boundaries. And when things start happening, we don't like it. And as a result of that, say, oh, this person is arrogant, this person is. They will have forgotten that it's not about being arrogant. It's about your dignity, about your self-respect.
Absolutely.
I think another thing I can say about that is then why self-respect and dignity is also important. It helps us to portray positive characters.
I love that.
When you have self-respect for yourself and you're trying to uphold your dignity, you have positive, you'll be able to read to portray positive character. You will be trustworthy, you won't be insulting others, you yourself will be able to respect others because it is what you have that you can give up. What you don't have,
You can't.
I think I will stop.
Wow, thank you so much. These are very powerful nuggets you have thrown. And what stood out for me is, giving what you have and what you don't have. If you actually have self-respect, it's easier to be respected, which leads me to ask the question. It is often said that when you don't carry yourself well, there's more often than not tendencies for you not to be respected. I don't know what you have to say about this statement. When you don't carry yourself well, there's tendency for you to be disrespected.
Yes, you will surely be disrespected. Just like the word carry yourself well. When we look at it, it's an idiomatic expression.
Right.
So what do they mean by carry yourself well? That is just like there is this adage, and they say, as you lay your bed, you lie by your bed. People will address you the way you dress. I think this word is not only basically for the way we put on our clothes or what type of clothes.
Right.
But if you respect others, you will also be respected. Because respect is being earned. It's something you work for. You can only earn it through your action. But if you don't carry yourself well, when you carry yourself well, what exactly are you trying to show? You are trying to portray a respective, you show respect to others, you present yourself in a very respectful manner, showing dignity, self-respect, kindness, and being compassionate to others. So when you lack all this, you don't expect it because it is what you do unto others that others will do unto you as well. You can't be insulting people and say, okay, they will not insult you, they will respect you. They will also look down on you. That is how it is.
Thank you so much for that. So do you mind sharing with us what you think are the important values one ought to inculcate in order to earn, as you said, respect is earned, in order to earn respect and for respect to be reciprocated? What are the important core values?
I think one of the values is we need to be trustworthy.
Okay.
We need to be trustworthy. Integrity is part of it. When people talk about you, they say, no, we are very sure he or she will not do that.
Right.
He or she will not do that. Trustworthy, when they talk about saying no, it's being truthful. Whatever he or she says is true. Then we should be loyal to other people as well. Those are the values. And another thing is we should be prone to change. We all know that one thing that is constant in life is change. Not change from good to bad, or from bad to good. We are not perfect. We are all working towards perfection. We are all work in progress. So as a result of that, we need to. Then another thing is we need to be a good listener. Many of us, we are talkative. We don't listen well. We don't have this good, effective listening skills, which is very important. These are some of the values, attributes that somebody that has self-respect should be able to portray. Yes.
Wow. Thank you for that. I think communication skills is what we call it. When one is able to just listen and hear people out, It is often said that when you're in the midst of people and then you do more listening than speaking, you actually are even pointed out as the wisest person. But when you go about being talkative, it looks like I don't know what word to use, but I'm sorry to say they address such people as being too loud or being too lousy and all of that. So I think we should pay attention to ourselves when we're going beyond our boundaries and giving more than we have to, especially when communicating, giving people the opportunity to air their views as well. With that being said, I think it's also important for us to understand, the consequences one could often face when you don't know your worth, or you don't, how would I put it? When you don't know your worth as a person, because for you to earn that respect, you ought to know yourself, you ought to know your values, you ought to know your worth. The mistake many make is they are trying to be so good, and sometimes people step on them, use them more or less like a floor mat. So can you help us draw the boundary, between knowing your worth and respecting yourself, and not making yourself available to be, should I use the word misuse? You get where I'm coming from?
Yes, I'm right.
Okay.
I understand what you're trying to say. I think people that doesn't know their worth, they're like people with, I would say they have low self-esteem. Which is important because self-respect, dignity, self-worth, self-esteem, all of them, they're like families. Yes, they are aligned together. So when we don't know our words, then anybody can just push us around. Even when we do things that are right, they can condemn it and we accept it like that. So, oh, I don't know how to do it. But if we know our words, when we have self-respect to ourselves, we're not being bothered with low self-esteem. We know that this thing is wrong. This is mistreatment, or like call it maltreatment. Somebody is maltreating me. This person is just saying what he or she desires to say about me. We don't take it. Then, just like I said, we need to learn to say no when we're supposed to say no, and to say yes when we're supposed to say yes. Absolutely. We just don't take everything hook, line, and sinker. It is wrong. This is not a matter of, I think another thing that I can say is what affects many of us is maybe because of the environment. Say, what will people say about me?
We're so worried about what
we're so worried about what people, what
to
will
our detriment.
Yes, to our own detriment. So the very day we are trying to say this thing is becoming too much, I need to say something so that this person, okay, I've been pushed, I've gotten to my elastic limit, I can't go forward, I need to. Then people see it as, oh, this person has now grown wings. Which is not the truth. The other party has been the one doing the bad thing. So in that case, we need to learn, or to tell ourselves we need to say no when we're supposed to say no. Say yes when you're supposed to say yes. It's not that you will not respect anybody, but when you respect yourself, when you know your words, you let people know that this is my value, this is my words. Because when we're talking about self-respect, we're also talking about self-worth at the same time.
That's true.
And it's just a bit of gauging our values. And how do we do that? When you are trying to, because when we have self-respect, we empathize, we show empathy as well. We put other people into our shoes. But in most cases, because of this empathy we talk about, that's when you see somebody, you say, oh, no. You will feel like, I mean, this person's shoe, this is what I would do. You try to know. And people now, they take it for granted. I don't know how to say. So the person with no self-esteem should learn to say no when you are supposed to say no. Say yes when you are supposed to say yes. Do what is right. Don't do it because of you want how would I say, approval from external body.
Absolutely.
Do what pleases your heart.
Thank you so much for that. And I just want to add to that it's not we have to be mindful actually with the way we do it, so that we don't communicate being rude or rebellious, or so that we don't give impression of
respectively.
Yes, it should be done respectfully, and even if it's being misunderstood, you understand where you're coming from. And I think having that peace that you're coming from the right angle, and not leaving compassion and empathy out of it, I think it goes a long way. Thank you so much for mentioning these values because I think they're very core. I would like us to wrap up this discussion with you giving us a take home generally from this discussion.
Well, my take home, just like I want to say this quote: self-respect is a fruit of discipline. If we don't discipline ourselves, we don't have self-respect. And if you don't respect ourselves, nobody will respect us. Don't let us forget that respect is being earned through our actions.
That's true.
Then the sense of dignity grows with the ability to say no, even to ourselves, to oneself. So that's my take.
Wow. Thank you so much for this. I forgot to ask this very important question. Being that this is featured in the youth series, please, I would like for you to give one or two advices to some youths that might be dealing with low self-esteem, as you mentioned earlier. There are some children, probably because of the way they were being raised, or I don't know, their personalities, so to speak, because we have children that are very out, and there are others that are quiet, introverted, and as a result, maybe are often not able to speak for themselves, and they grow into youth and young adults in that kind of manner. Just one or two things they could do to inculcate those values you pointed out and having self-respect and dignity for themselves as well. Thank you.
I think my advice for them is to try to develop, to grow, to develop self-esteem and dignity for themselves. And how will they be able to achieve this? Number one, they need to be assertive. When I say they should be assertive, they should take steps to stop people that disrespect them. When you see that this people is disrespecting you,
Right.
it's not, you won't fight the fellow, but take action to stop the person.
Yes, setting healthy boundaries.
Yes, by setting boundaries. Learn to say no. When you say no the first time, the second time they know, oh, this is no, this is not this is a no-go area. Then another thing is try to generate positive energy. What I mean by generating positive energy is don't criticize yourself to someone else.
Wow.
When you are criticizing yourself to someone else,
You're bringing yourself down.
Yes, you're bringing yourself down, you're not helping yourself. Then somebody that wants to have self-respect and dignity should be selfless. You live in humility.
You can't live in humility.
Yes, you live in humility. You should be selfless, and such a person should learn to handle criticism. Because in this world that we are, you see, we meet with different people. Some people will criticize you even for no reason. Some people will give you constructive criticism. Some will give you destructive
ones.
But it all depends on how do you handle it.
Right.
I think another important thing I would say is, in life, attitude is everything. I remember somebody bought that book for me too. When I was praying, that I need to read.
Wow.
Attitude is everything. So our attitude to life also will determine how do we grow self-respect and dignity. Another thing is we should try to mingle with people that we know that they will help us to grow self-respect and dignity for ourselves. Not people that will be bringing us down and everything. Then we should learn to accept ourselves. We should learn to accept. Yes, we should be kind to ourselves. We should learn to accept ourselves and respect other people as well. Because just like I said, respect is being here. If you don't respect others, how do you want to grow self-respect yourself? Then we should be focused.
Wow.
We should be focused on what we like, we enjoy doing most. We shouldn't be like someone else puppets. They push you here. So you follow them because they are the one doing it. You don't even have interest. They just said, you need to go and do this for us. Let people know this is what I want, this is what I like. Even when they try to push you, you say, no, I don't. This is my
stand forward.
Yes, you can be a pace setter. And others will also join you as well. So then I think those are the basic things that I can give as advice.
Wow. Thank you so much. I just wanted to add to this because when it's talking about being able to express yourself. I remember the discussion I once listened to. A group of women were discussing. I followed them with like Christian forum of women that discuss on this different topics. So one of the ladies was talking about selflessness and giving, being a bowel of selflessness, showing empathy and all that. However, she was also trying to point out the fact that as much as we're being selfless, you shouldn't lose yourself. You shouldn't give more than you can actually give, because we all have our varying capacities. The grace you have might be different from the grace I can operate from. We should know the boundary of how much we can give. We shouldn't be so selfless to the point that we become passive.
Yes.
And I think this came to my mind when you mentioned being able to be assertive, using one assertive. So to some point, even as an introvert, we have introverts, we have extroverts, yeah, which is cool. We're all different. We're all wonderfully and fearfully made, glory to God. But being able to, express ourselves to some extent, I think is very important.
Sorry, at this point, I also want to add this. At times, we make mistakes in life. What I mean by that mistake is, when we say self-respect is all about our values and our words. But at times, inferiority complex makes some people to behave the other way around.
That's true.
And it's different from self-respect. It's different from dignity. So when we're talking about self-respect and dignity, this is totally different from inferiority complex. Inferiority complex at times will make people to be saying no, even when they're not supposed to say no. Because when somebody is feeling inferior, he or she will surely want to feel superior.
In some kind of way.
Yes, in some kind of way. So that he or she will be able to fit into that environment where he or she finds him or herself.
Wow, this is quite explosive. Yeah, thanks for bringing this into our attention, because complex will actually hide the form of pride.
Yes.
If we don't pay attention, and it takes the spirit of God sometimes, more often than not, if we are very sensitive.
It's not like hiding in form of pride. I mean, because when you feel inferior, it's like you are in a group of society. You feel like you are not up to the standard of the people there. Okay. So and you want to meet up to the standard. You try to, how will I say you upgrade yourself. When you now upgrade yourself, not that you are not, the word inferior means not that you are not up to their standard. It's you that you are feeling that way. It's you. Those people, they accept you, but you are the one feeling that way. I don't know. It's maybe for one reason or the other. Maybe at times different things cost a lot of things. Some people are feeling inferior, maybe because they don't have a car, and every other person in that society have cars. Maybe because of the way they dress, you're not dressing like that.
Okay.
It happens. Okay. So in that case, or maybe because of the way they talk, when they talk, people, when you're like, okay, for example, let me say this: when you're in a group of people that they have self-respect, but you yourself, you don't have self-respect. When people respect them, because they respect others as well, and people are not respecting you, and you want the same, that person will be feeling inferior to those people. But instead for him or her to work upon him herself, and also to develop this self-respect complex. Yes, not okay. Then the person will pride will now set it on, no. I'm also this, I'm also that. So we need to be conscious of that. And when pride sets in, the fall of the man, what's pride?
That's true. Yeah, thank you for this. And I think we'll just it makes me come back to certain situations where you mentioned, where how complex can turn into superiority complex. But I believe that at some point in time, if truly we call ourselves believers, it's good for us to be sensitive to know if it's a complex issue we're having or you're dealing with. Because people grew up with different, I say this often and often again, different family orientations. You never know what they battled with as a child, probably bullying, probably any other thing that makes them, even in adulthood, even when people are not seeing them a certain way, they just feel, it comes to their mind that they are being treated that way. I've watched a program where it was a youth program, and a lady came out and said she always feels this complex about herself, and it made her start seeing herself as ugly. She can't admit that she's beautiful, even though she's beautiful, and she's she started walking like a, like a boss, like, okay, this is that kind of a thing. I don't know if I should call that pride, but it was quite emotional for me.
No, it wasn't to me. It wasn't. I can't call it pride, but she's trying to, how will I say, gain attention. Let people say that no, she's also, she herself believe that she's okay. So she's not. She wants to make impression.
Okay.
No, I'm not. When I'm anywhere I am, let people know that somebody is there. No, for me, I think just like you said, inferiority complex is it has to do with our background, childhood, where we're coming from.
Yeah.
Where we're coming from. And aside that, just like this self-respect that we're talking about, it has to do with an individual. This inferiority complex that we're talking about, it has to do with individual as well. Because you see some people, they have almost everything, they're still feeling inferior. And you see people, they don't have anything.
No,
they're free. They carry themselves free. So I think it has to do with. That's what I remember when I was in secondary school. There was this physical education that they taught us something about posture. The way we carry ourselves. So it speaks to our posture as well.
Right.
When people see you, they can read your posture. Right, proud person. Say no, this person is an inferior. This person will be feeling inferior. So it has to do with when we have kids, we need to start telling them now early, so that they will know that whatever happens, they don't need to feel inferior.
Right.
But I think most times parents also cause it. For example, you're comparing your child to another person's child. Their upbringing is different. The way you relate to your own child is different from the way maybe the father or the mother. What that child is being exposed to. Do you expose your own child to it? You understand?
Right.
So for me, even when I was growing, maybe it's one of those things that when I see people wearing beautiful clothes, I'm like, oh, this is nice. This is nice. When we get home, tell my parents. Anytime we go to because it's my mom that buys for us. She won't because she market or she bring clothes for us. You can't wear this. You have seen your clothes.
Yeah, you see what
at church, at school, because I think once in a year, we're being allowed to wear mufti to school. So you see the kind of clothes. How will I wear this kind of clothes? I can't. I'll be feeling inferior. No. But thank God for my father. If my father is the one that will buy us something. It's okay. Do you have anything in mind? Especially when we are watching it network program. During those days, they used to have a lot of children program on TV. So Daddy, look at that dress. And I like my father. What's that one? We'll buy. Even if you can't say the exact one, you will not buy. I saw something that looks alike. Do I go ahead? Or you understand what I'm saying? So we can help our kids grow and make them. Then we should self-confidence is another thing that will not make a child